on the ceremony were not immediately available. Lopez and Affleck were previously engaged back in November of 2002 before eventually calling it quits. I'm Chris Coraggio, NBC News Radio.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
We got my boy Andre here. Go ahead, say hi to everybody.
Hey, how you guys doing?
There you go. I like it. Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm glad I'm back this week. I know the last couple shows we didn't really have any guests, but tonight's a special guest, a family friend. I haven't seen him in so long. How long has it been?
When did I make it rain? No, I'm joking.
When did I make it rain?
That's an inside joke.
Oh, yeah, closer to the mic. There you go.
Closer.
There you go.
But it has to be over like 10 years.
10 years,
I think last time I saw you, I was probably like 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
I went to your guys' house, slept on a trampoline.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No, we had some good times. That was for Timmy's birthday, right? Yeah. It was like for his birthday. Yeah.
We're being bad.
I know it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
tonight we have you on because I think you have a pretty interesting story, and you know, a lot of shows and just like if you go listen to the radio, the news, whatever, it's just the same old stuff, COVID, politics, all that. You know what I mean? Like this is more of a personal talk, you know? So all the people listening, like hopefully you guys get some personal value out of this. But I wanted to talk about your life story and what's happened since the last time we've seen each other.
All right. Well, I kind of grew up thinking that it was kind of cool to be bad. Like I always try to do the things that I knew I could get away with.
There you go.
You know, people would clap about it. Like, I got expelled from school. I should have never picked up a blunt. Like, you know? And they legalize it now, so.
Now it's just crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably gonna be a lot of people getting in trouble for trying to have fun. But I think weed's one thing that like, kind of like, not necessarily messed my life up, but like. I made a lot of bad choices because of it.
It definitely changed your life in a way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but like at the same time, I've tried to sell it once.
Once?
Yeah, some people wanted to kill me because I was acting like Smokey. Smoking other man's stuff.
Yeah, they didn't like that,
huh? They was hearing about my name on the streets in a bad way.
Getting a reputation.
No, price on my head. Yeah, but it was cool. Luckily, I was a nice guy, and I never seen him again.
There you go. So then, what progressed? I know that we're gonna talk about how you were in prison. I got a bunch of prison questions. I have never been to prison, never been to jail.
There you go.
And I'm pretty sure you don't recommend it.
Oh no, man. I'm not gonna say like if you see the police run, but you don't want to go to prison. You know, I was like, I remember it made me so sad one time. Like I called my sister. I called my mom. I only called my mom, and then I told my sister like, "Well, why aren't you on my list? Why you don't call me?" And she's like, "Oh, 'cause I don't got nothing to say to you. I don't got nothing to talk about. It's boring in there." I'm like, "Dang." Like,
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah.
I'm like, but I'm be stressing like, and I know there's some stuff like you do in prison and you can't say over the phone 'cause then you're probably gonna get more time, you know. So I'll be stressing, you know, like being a part of things that I didn't know how to get out of,
Right.
and I couldn't say anything, but it would have been nice to be able to hear somebody's voice, you know.
Yeah.
And like for some reason, like when you're in prison, like people don't understand how hurt you are because like the thing that in my point of view, like I remember another occasion when my sister, like she wrote me. Oh no, we didn't have the tablets yet. It was another time I called my mother, and then she told me that I should write my brother, like write him a letter. She was like, you know what, your brother, he's going through something. He's sad. You should write a letter to make him feel better. I just started cussing around. Like, nobody was writing me letters, you know?
Right.
I'm like, and I just like, you know what? I think would be a good idea. What about you just go give him a hug and tell him you love him, you know? That's all I needed, you know? But
Right.
who's doing that?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, so you could get a lot of resentment in prison. Like I did. I got like resentful and bitter. You feel me? Like very angry because like, yeah, you know, growing up with my brother Adonis and you guys and stuff, we just have fun. We used to play martial arts as kids. You
Yeah,
know?
Yeah.
We weren't like street thugs or anything like that. And if we got in a street fight, I'm pretty sure you thought it was a joke. You know, the way we looked. You know,
All just
And-
fun and games. Like, woo!
yeah. You know, we're picking up sticks and stuff. And like,
Dirt clods and throwing at each other. Like,
yeah, having fun. But like, prison was like a whole nother lifestyle for me, and it's like everybody I was surrounded by grew up in that lifestyle, you know? So the morals are all different. You know, it's like, for instance, if you're doing something that's hurting yourself and you won't stop, when we tell you to stop, there'll be some people to come to jump you, like,
to stop you from doing it.
yeah, it's like, dang, so it sucks. You can't even do it for yourself. You might get whooped on, like, because you could start a riot, or maybe, like, you probably taking too much money from your family and stuff. There's a lot of drug habits in there. I see people die all the time.
Do you remember like your first day?
Oh
going
yeah,
in?
my first day in county jail. My crime is in Arizona, so obviously I live in California, and they brought me out there. So my first day in county jail was in Robert Presley over there in the Riverside. And excuse me. But I remember my first day. They put me in this holding tank, you know. I mean, like, from the first day I got locked up, I've been calling my mama every day, you know. First of all, I'm like in this holding cell with like 20 people, you know. Like, everybody's talking about their story and why they're incarcerated at the time, they're charged, like. And no matter what, anywhere I went, as soon as I said anything about my crime, everybody would shut me up like, no, not you. Like, you know, you can't talk about your crime. So I'm like, all right.
Dang, okay.
Yeah, I felt bad. Like, all right, you need some more props or something like that?
Nah, yeah, I'm gonna pull my wallet.
All right, bet. Yeah, so my first day in prison, my first day in county jail when they brought me to Arizona, I went in, some big black man, you know, like almost to the ceiling, you know, and he was making hooch, you know. So like everywhere I went, it was like not really. There's not too many good influences, you know, and the best influence that you can find in prison is usually by the people that have done the most there, you know.
Right.
So it's like crazy.
Because like they're probably like the most humble, right? Because they're not. I mean, they're just in there. So it's like, what's the mentality when people are in there for a long time?
Well, it all depends on who you are and who you with. You know, like I rolled with some guys that was like, they like ran everything,
Right.
everywhere they went. And it just so happened that I meet one of the guys, you know, and he took me under his wing. And it's this thing like we say in prison, when you come in there young, you know, and then you have to grow up there. Someone's gonna raise you, you know. So. That man raised me, you feel me, taught me how to survive, but the only thing is he taught me how to survive in a violent way, you know, like to get everything I wanted by violence, you know, and like I said, I never even really had a real fight before I got locked up, you know, and I was like, my mom, she like tried to raise me not to fight for anything, you know. There's times in my life people hit me and I didn't even do anything back because it didn't even hurt. You know, and I truly didn't want to strike another man because one time I read this scripture in the Bible and it said like, how we were the image of God, the likeness, you know. So then I knew that if I striked another man or if I felt any hate towards him, I'll feel that way about God too.
Yeah.
You know, so I never wanted to hit anybody. But now in prison, like I'm fighting because of ego. You know, like you might say something wrong or look at me too long. You know, you might have a problem with a homie of mine, you know. It's like, or I might just wake up and like.
You just need to get it done, huh?
Yeah, it's like I hate voices, you know. Like,
Yeah.
it just sucks. It takes you to a whole nother place. Like, it's so hard, especially who you with. And like, so I was in there for felony murder, so when I went in there, I was in a pod, and everyone was in there for murder.
Mm.
You know, there's like over 30 people in one pod, and they're all in there for
What?
murder. Yeah,
That's
you know.
crazy.
So I'm like in a room full of murders, and I didn't like. I just tried to kill somebody, but because that person was killing someone, you know. Like,
Yeah.
and I got blamed for murder, and I'm like, dang. But I look, and these guys, I look at them every day. I sit on the top tier. They're called tiers. I go to the top of the tier, the top of the stairs, and I just look down at everybody, and you'll hear them like, everybody's laughing and smiling, goofing around with each other, playing dominoes, playing chess, and I'll be like, dang. And they're fighting big numbers. They call it football numbers. You feel me? Because it's all the years that you're gonna get.
Oh, okay.
And you feel me? County jail's a stressful place. Like prison's a little different. You kind of accept your time. Some people serve their whole time trying to get out of their time.
Mm-hmm.
But some people got life. You know,
Yeah.
they just don't care about nothing. You know,
Yeah.
when it comes down to it, like if you really want to take them there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, do I say why I went there now?
That's up to you. If you want to say that, you can.
I don't mind. I'm here already. Well, my brother always tells me to tell him about how it was with my dad first. So you know, I'd start there. You know, well, my dad, like he grew up in the street life. You know, like teach their own. You know, I always loved my dad, and like, ironically, every time I met a person outside of Adonis and the family, you know, like those are the only people in my life that I ever met that weren't gang affiliated ever. You know, everyone I've ever came across was in a gang, and I always found that out after we got close. You know,
Like, after you guys became friends. Oh, by the way.
yeah. I just got put on last month. Okay. So my dad, he grew up in that lifestyle. He was a gang member out there in Oceanside. He was white, but he was from a black hood when he went to prison. He's a jailbird, recidivist. He'd have to fight in prison a lot because he was white and he was rolling with the blacks. It's different, like you roll with your hoods and stuff, you know?
Right.
So he did that, and people were trying to kill him and stuff. But my dad, like, I don't know, I my mind's just like his, kind of, you know? I got to learn that. I didn't get to be around him, but I got to, like, live some of his lifestyle, so I know, and I know how it feels to be him, you know? And that's the closest I ever got to my dad, you know, going the place that he's been.
Right.
And I seen him in my life probably. I can remember every time I ever seen him. The first time I ever seen him, I was like just a little kid, like maybe like 3. And he was in jail. My mom went to take me there. And my first memory of him is behind bars. And then I seen him again when I was 5. I just woke up and he was there in the bed, you know. Like, came to visit from somewhere. He'd do that. That's how he'd do it. He did that twice. The second time I seen him after I was 5, I was 8. After that, I seen him when I was 12. I seen him when I was 16. Last time I seen him, I was 18. I did a crime with him. Like, I was scared to steal candy out the gas station, you know? Like,
Yeah.
let alone... Although I tried to act super bad and cool, you know, like... I'm twisting up weed and Jack in the Box and drinking liquor in the back of my class, you know.
Yeah. You ain't stealing no gum though, you know.
Yeah, you know, I only did the things I knew I can get away with. Remember.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do nothing behind camera, and plus, my whole crime is on camera. So when I see my dad, I actually just rode with my grandmother because they were going to a funeral, and when I got there, I so happened to see my dad, and like on his side, his mom and dad, like his dad's crazy, super crazy, and like he was telling us that our dad was dead and stuff, you know, and he was on the run. He was at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah, so I
Wow.
was like, wow, he's.
That's funny.
So when I finally seen him, I was super happy. I didn't know the thing. I just looked at my grandpa like, oh, it was expected of him, you know. You'll wake up and he'll be standing there butt naked with his cane to sleep, butt standing, you know. And so he's a Marine and stuff. But the man that we tried robbing was a Marine, you know. I basically I was only supposed to be out there for the weekend, and then me and my dad, we asked permission from my mother if I could stay out there until the next weekend. And then my grandparents would come pick us up. Excuse me, I'm tired. I only slept for like last 30-some hours. I only slept for 30 minutes. You know?
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm so. Excuse me, Miss Cortez, my PO, if you're listening, I'm sober. Yeah, I just can't sleep like that. I be trying hard, you know.
Yeah.
Is it because of prison?
Somewhat. Like, I always was an early bird, and I would wake up early no matter like what time I went to bed. But now, like, being in prison, having to take shifts just to protect ourselves, it kind of like gave me a little bit of PTSD, you know, where I'm like,
Get up.
I'm still looking behind me, so, you know, and I'm
Yeah,
still looking for somebody to come try to get me just because of my name, you know. So I'm like, it sucks. Like, just like 2 weeks ago, my brother walked in the garage and I jumped down and tried to grab him, you know, like, because he scared me, you know. I still get scared, but if you scare me and you're close enough,
Like,
I'm
hey,
gonna try to
don't scare
attack
me,
you.
dude. He's like,
That's
hey.
all, because I want you to leave me alone. That's how I learned to fight, by being afraid. Afraid to, well, a little bit probably too. I was afraid to be like ran off, you know, to become like to have to go to protective custody and stuff, and it was hard for me because like you have to have a police report in prison. You feel me? You have to, or like if you don't have that, they're trying to get you just based off that.
Really?
Yeah, you feel me? They expect the worst. You feel me? And I didn't even have the police report from all the time down. So my time was hard, but I made sure I stayed on the main line. Well, main line is like basically where it's at, you know. But I always been kind of a little stubborn, so I didn't want my police report because it talked about my crime in it, and like I thought it was personal to me, you know. And like a lot of people try to glorify the things that they do in prison, and they try to make it seem like it's cool, and it's okay to do. You feel me? So I didn't want people to look at my crime and then see me and think that that's me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I was willing to go through whatever I had to because they got pictures and stuff in there. Like, I was willing to go through whatever I had to because I've already seen that, like, there's people that got good names in prison that be locked up for, like, 20 years, you know? And they would, like, they'll be ran off or they'll do something, you know? They'll fall short and then they're stealing or something, or they're breaking a rule. You feel
They
me?
get more years on them, right?
No, not even. I'm saying, like, okay, we have our own little G code. You feel me? So, like, which is so dumb to me because if you and me, we go try to steal that candy I was talking about from the gas station, and someone tells on us, we're going to look at them like a snitch.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But if all three of us is in prison and I try to take something from his area while he's gone, and you see me, it's okay for you to tell. Don't tell the police, but it's okay for us to tell on each other to each other.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I get that. I get that.
You know,
Okay,
so that was weird to me, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, it was just basically what they wanted was we're all felons, so, like, less. I forgot how they say it. It's something like pirates do or something, you know? It's like, but basically, like, don't steal from each other, you know?
Yeah.
But it was all done to me. And I was never a thief anyway. Sadly, I became a robber. So, yeah, you know, I should have just took that candy. Probably got in trouble earlier, you know.
Apologize and
Went to Scare Straight or something, you know? Not, Okay. So basically, I'm hanging out with my dad, and like I told you, he's a pimp, you know, and we're driving to one of his how do I say that his harlot's house, one of the harlots, and
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah,
okay.
trying to
Yeah.
keep it clean.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this is back way before OnlyFans, y'all. You know, but so I'm driving with them, and I overhear him while we're at their house. I also brought my brother and sister because we came out there together, and I thought like it wouldn't be right if I left them. So we're at the house, drinking vodka and Red Bull and stuff. And I overhear him talking with a buddy of his how they're gonna try to go rob somebody. And every time I've ever in my whole life heard anyone talking about like trying to take somebody's stuff, I always talked them out of it, you know, because I didn't think it was right to take something from someone when you don't know how hard they had to work for that. You feel me? Or even if it was a gift, something that they couldn't have achieved or pay for themselves, you know, or even if it was priceless, and, like meaningless to some, it could be sentimental to that person, you know. So like, I never liked it, you know. And and every single time, I was always able to talk that person out of doing it, whether it was killing themselves or robbing. I've always been able to talk people out of those two things. And but for some reason, I'm not gonna say because it was alcohol either. But when I heard my dad talking about doing that robbery, in my head I was like, you know what? If I go with him, I'll be able to go back and tell my friends like, hey man, you wouldn't believe what I just did. I went with my dad and I robbed somebody. Man. You know, that's what I was thinking. Like, that'd be cool. You know, I have like
family bond.
Yeah, something. You know, you asked me about my dad, I really couldn't tell you anything. You know?
Like we didn't play catch, we robbed.
Yeah, one time he tried to make me, you know, pimp on this girl, and then like one time I got to rob somebody with him. How about that? You know, so it sounded cool at the time, but so I talked him into letting me go with him because I thought that the least it would do is he would see that I'm willing to do something that's out of my character, and he'll want to spend more time with me. You feel me? So, but when we did the robbery, he actually ended up dying. He got stabbed to death. And for a second, I couldn't do nothing but, like, watch it because I was so shocked, you know? And, like, first, before, like, he stabs my dad in the stomach, then he stabs me in my chin right here. And when I fall, I immediately get up to leave the house, man. Like, I just looked at it like the robbery's over, man. You know, I'm bleeding, you know. I forgot that, like, during the whole thing, my dad, he's putting, like, masks on, gloves and stuff. I'm like, what about me? He takes the socks off of his feet. So, like, I'm getting more scared as I'm trying to open this door because I could have sworn I left it open. That was locked and slipping. You know, I think I was going to die.
You got socks?
Yeah, you know, I was like, I'm trying to open the door. It's not working. And then that's when I saw it was locked. It actually was working the whole time. So I immediately left my dad because I was so scared that I took a step out. And then the only thing that snapped me out of it was his screams, you know? And, like, I turned around and I saw him, like, and just, like, what I seen was, like, so horrible, you know? I still see it now. But basically, I just went back in there and I started, you know, attacking that man. You know, and I had a weapon too. So it stopped him, you know. It stopped him, but, like, it was already too late for my dad, you know. So he died. And then I got charged with this thing called felony murder, which is you get charged with murder because you were committing a crime and someone died in the commission of a crime. So you get charged for it because someone is to blame for that death.
Because there was a murder, right.
Or even if it was just a death, you know? Because, like, for instance, it's not a murder. They're just calling it a murder because they're saying it's my fault because I was there. But it'll always be called murder if someone dies because you and me, we can go try to get that candy out that gas station, you know? And if the police kills me, then they're going to charge you with felony murder.
Dang.
Yeah, And so when I first got locked up, they were trying to give me 25 to life. I honestly thought I was like supposed to be some prison preacher or something, you know? Like, I'm like, wow, I never got in trouble before. I skipped YA. And
Right? You skipped everything.
yeah,
Straight to it,
you know, I skipped fights. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
and I went
Dang.
straight to that. Like, never tried to take nobody's stuff. And like, in prison did change me. You know, like, for instance, I'm still me, still got the same heart, except for like my mind is kind of like messed up, like badly though. Like, first, I went from like letting somebody hit me and just taking it because I didn't want to hit him back, till me just starting fights, you know, and like I stab people and stuff. Like, it was like the way of life, you know, to be a savage. Like, so I feel bad about it now, but like at the time, I guess I was so hurt that I didn't care about anything. I just felt like, you know, I didn't even know if I was ever gonna get out of prison, so I was just living a prison life, you know. And all the guys I were with, they all had like 20 years and up life, and like I told you, they were all shot callers and stuff. But I know that although I tried to live a certain way in prison for it to not affect me too much, no matter what, it's going to, because like it's such an evil place that I would tell my family and my friends, like, if I truly want to just live for God, like 100% in prison, it'll never work, you know. And that's how you know prison's an evil place, because you're not allowed to forgive and forget, you know. You're supposed to be merciful to all mankind, and that's not a place for mercy. Nah, it's a place to prey on the weak, you know. So like, what I mean by it changed me is this: I still know right from wrong, but as before, I didn't even have it in me to be able to do something if I wanted to, because I was too afraid. But now, like, you know, I could take people's stuff, you know. I have it in me. Like, I could walk in somebody's house, and I won't be afraid. I could walk in someone's house while knowing it's a house full of people, alone, and I know I could be okay. But like, I still know that I'd be wrong, but I'm just telling you, just by being in prison, it gave me that, you know?
Yeah.
So I am ashamed about that, you know? And, like, having to sell drugs and stuff to make it, or to get by. Plus, the people I'm with, like, I was known as the guy that made all the knives for everybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was the knife guy.
That's so cool, bro.
You know, had the nice little spots and
Like, what kind of knife you want?
Yeah.
Want a big knife, short knife, curve?
Toothbrush, pen, newspaper. You know?
That's pretty cool.
Man.
Yeah.
Before you continue talking, we're going to be going on a quick break, about 5 minutes. Before we do that, Kyle, you want to give us a quick shout out?
Yes, snjradio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music. And our man, Secondhand Sam, up at Second Chance Thrift Store next to US.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. Compasses point north by following the Earth's magnetic field. It's amazing when you think about it. There's an invisible force flowing out of the Earth's south pole and diving back into its north pole, pulling all compass needles to the north with it. Even more amazing is that the magnetic field is keeping us alive right now. Without it, there would be no life on Earth. We're talking Mars. Here's how it works. Our magnetic field is generated in the Earth's core. It flows outward through the crust and surrounds the Earth like a giant bubble called the magnetosphere, which extends more than 400,000 miles into space. But on the side that faces the sun, the solar winds squash it down to just 40,000 miles. It's the force of that magnetic field pushing back against the solar winds that keeps them from scouring away the Earth's atmosphere. Scientists even think that billions of years ago, when the Earth was first forming, Our magnetic field helped trap the gases that made up our atmosphere in the first place. By contrast, when a planet loses its magnetic field, its atmosphere declines with it, like we see on Mars. Magnetic field means atmosphere, means life on Earth. That's pretty mind-blowing. So the next time you see a compass, take a moment to remind yourself that our lives are made possible because we're living on a giant magnet. I'm Scott Tinker, and this has been your Date with Earth.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
We've all heard jokes that begin with a rabbi, a priest, and a minister walk into a bar. Well, a rabbi, a minister, and a deacon actually walk into the KCAA studios every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. to host the radio program Religion on the Line. And that's no joke. Together, they offer a mixture of humor and serious conversation about things that really matter in life and how to make our lives happier and more fulfilling. They compare religious doctrine and learn from each other while bringing a unique perspective of religion to the KCAA audience. Listen every Sunday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. for Religion on the Line, the intersection of humanity and divinity, right here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listeners behind.
Medicare Clarified. Hi, this is George Litchfield with Litchfield Insurance Associates. Well, it's getting close to that time of year again where you want to make sure you're getting the most out of your Medicare plan. There are exciting new plans for 2022 with United Healthcare, SCAN, and others. For your no-obligation review, people are calling 951-314-1949. If you're turning 65, new to the area, or losing group coverage and have questions about Medicare, you are invited to our new offices and resource center at the Sundance Corporate Center, 835 Highland Springs Avenue, Suite 305 in Beaumont. For your no-cost Medicare consultation, people are calling 951-314-1949 to get their Medicare clarified.
Bob Vila here with my home improvement tip of the day. Ceiling fans are great, except when they begin wobbling. What causes that, and how can you fix it? First, check for dirt on the blades. Yes, even a small buildup can cause wobble. Use a sponge and household cleaner to get off the grime. Wobbling could also mean one or more of the blades are warped or cracked. Replace if necessary. If the blades look okay, check to see if they're out of alignment. You can do that by using a yardstick to measure from the upper tip of each blade to the ceiling. If the distance varies, check for loose screws where the blades are attached to their metal housings. Also, those housings sometimes get slightly bent from overzealous cleaning or whatever, and need to be gently bent back to their original position. If none of that works, you'd best head to the home center and pick up a blade balancing kit. They're only a few bucks, and if they help you solve the problem, there's no doubt you'll consider that money well spent. Get more info at bobvila.com and right here at home with me, Bob Vila.
Happy Sunday. You guys are listening to Whatever Works. I'm Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
Andre Smith.
And we are here on the show. We got another about 25 minutes left with Andre. If you guys are just coming in, just tuning in, Andre Smith, he went to prison for about 10 years. So we're just talking about his life experiences, his teachings, his burdens, and all that good stuff. It's been a great show so far. If you guys did miss out on the first half and you want to go back and listen to it, you guys can just go to KCAA, Whatever Works, or on Spotify. There you go. Spotify, KCAA, Whatever Works, and it will be uploaded there. And also, I'm going to be doing a couple of short videos as well to put in some clips for you guys. So if you guys want to go back and watch that too. Kyle, you want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors?
Yeah, snjradio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music. And our man Secondhand Sam up at Second Chance Thrift Store next to USA Subs on Ucaipa Boulevard.
Yeah, go check him out, guys. So, Andre, my man, I haven't seen this guy in so long. Like, I was a little kid, probably not even in my teens yet. How old are you?
I turn 29 next month.
Yeah, so I wasn't even in my double digits when I met him. We used to hang out, have a ball. I haven't seen him in such a long time, and I know he's been through a life experience for sure, you know, and that's what we're talking about today. But do you remember where we left off? Because you were talking about when you're in prison, you're the knife guy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, making knives and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I learned how to fight pretty good, too.
How often did that happen?
What, me having to fight?
Yeah.
Well, I stopped counting after 20.
Yeah.
And yeah, I lost 3.
There you go. Hey, you count your wins though.
But some of them I forget. I just cannot get those losses out of my head.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
feel it. And what about the prison food? How's the food there?
Oh man, it was horrible. I even ate it when it was molded.
Really?
Yeah, you know, we got like this big old bag, like a frozen pink thing, and it said not for human consumption, but
You hungry?
it
You
looked
gotta-
like meat when you cook it. You know,
That's
oh
crazy.
man.
it was about as big as this table.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and it was so hard to chop up. It was like this thick.
Oh,
I don't
man.
know what it was.
But it looked like meat.
And it came in a brown bag.
Mm.
with a big white label on it that says not for human consumption. You would actually have to work in the kitchen to see that.
You went back there or what? Did you work in the kitchen at all?
I was working in the kitchen.
There you go.
A kitchen is a good job, you know. You make a lot of money,
Mm.
you know. Sometimes that's how you get the pack in or wait a minute. I'm going too far. I apologize. I can't say those type of things, you know, cuz like I can't give up game. Like I could tell you anything that I've learned, but I can't tell you how we get over on the police or, you know, or even I won't even get into detail about the things that I can't say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because I know. You feel me? It's not my place.
So what are some of the like prison lessons like behind the scenes? You know, like what is something that like the prisoners made? Like what laws and rules? Like when you walk in, like for example, like I told you before, like I've never been in prison, never been in jail, but I would like to know how to prepare myself if that day ever came. You know? So like I know obviously you got to be with your own clique, right? But your dad, you said he was white, but he was hanging out with the blacks. And like obviously that's a problem, right?
Well, when other white men will see that, they'll, okay, for the most part, whenever you see your race and they're with another race, you always be like, who the heck did this guy think he is?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You know? So I'm pretty sure they were looking at my father like that, but I respect it, you know? Because, like, he could have died just for that, you know? But he was staying loyal to his gang. And like even that sounds dumb, you know. Like I'm saluting somebody that's making no sense, you know.
Yeah.
But like I know that lifestyle, so it's kind of like the army, you know. And I could never. Just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean I could walk up to a veteran and be like, "Hey, everything you did was for nothing," and you know, they're gonna be very angry with me. They're probably mad right now if they can hear me even compare.
They're all listening to you like, hey,
Yeah, but don't worry, they're soldiers in the pen, you know. Some Marines, some from the streets.
Yeah. Well, okay, tell me the biggest guy you've seen in there.
Oh yeah, he's right there on my phone, my picture. He's my big homie.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was the biggest. He's so big that his shirt is tucked in under his chest.
What?
Yeah, it's just like.
They're like, hey,
weird.
man, we only got extra larges. Like, here
Yeah.
you go. And it's still too small.
Give me 3, I'll sew them all together.
Yeah.
Like I put on one of his sweaters before, and I like those old school little workout videos when they wear like the leggings and just the sweater that shows their shoulders and stuff.
Yeah.
That's how his sweater looks on me. Both of my
Really?
shoulders show.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's big. Like I remember like sometimes we'll fight and shit. Oh, I almost slipped. Sometimes we'll fight and like he hit super hard. And, like one time he like tried to punch me, I tried to dodge it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I dodged it kinda. It just doesn't feel like a dodge because he's like his knuckles scrape my shirt. When I look behind my shirt, my skin was ripped off. So I'm like, he hits really hard, you know.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a predator, you know. Like that's just what you call in prison when like
So
take people's
your
stuff.
big homie was on your side though, right? He was the biggest one in prison.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. That's
And like
cool.
people respected me because they knew him, and they were like, they knew that in order for me to have the same name as him, I gotta be willing to go really far and do a lot of things. So like some people wouldn't even mess with me because they're like, when they hear my name, they're like, they
oh,
don't
it's
know
not
what to
worth it,
expect. Like, not this guy.
Yeah.
Somebody else, you know. And worst case scenario, if I'm not able to handle my own, you're just gonna wish that you never started no problems with me anyway, because the repercussions of it.
Yeah, because you got big homie right here. So, yeah.
I got big homie, and I got, for the most part, anybody that somebody knows him and they respect him and they love him, they like, all they do is tell me all about him. You know, for the most part, like he was known for not to get too explicit, but like he got known in prison for walking into your cell, closing the door. I mean, like the people that were selling drugs or had phones, he'd walk in their cell, close their door, take out a can of grease, and he'd take out a knife. We call them bangers. So he'd take out a banger, take out a can of grease, and say, "You want to do this the hard way? You want to do this the easy way?" So you're gonna sit in that toilet and you're gonna take that pack out, or I'm gonna sit you in that toilet and take your pack out for you.
Damn.
And that's how he got his name, you know. So
What was his name? His cell name, I guess, his prison name.
well, I share the name. It's both our names, like except for it's like a pecking order. You feel me? I'm the last one, but it's criminal.
That's pretty hard.
So that's the name I earned in prison. Criminal.
That's crazy.
You know?
And so, like, your first couple nights, like, was there, like, how were you feeling during that time? Like, were you missing home, or were you worried about yourself, or were you worried about the next day, or?
Well, I knew that I was gonna be there for a long time because I knew the crime that I did. Like, they were my crimes were first degree murder, armed robbery, burglary, and aggravated assault. Which they could have turned into attempted murder if they wanted to. They had to drop the first degree murder to take it down to first degree manslaughter. So I could be in prison for life if it wasn't for the grace of God, you know. I took my victim's guts out of his stomach, and he came to court to speak in my behalf. Yeah. To tell them to give me the least amount of time as possible. Because they used to listen to my phone calls every day, and they said although I was on videotape and you could see my whole crime, they knew that that's not how I truly was. Even though I became like that video in prison, you know. But hey, we're breaking the law at the police station. We got good at it.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. You know, some people say like it's good to be a warrior in a garden rather than a gardener at war. You know what I mean? And for your sake, like, you're now a warrior, bro. You've been through some stuff that not a lot of people would put themselves in. But here back in, like, the civilian world, like, I mean, as far as I can tell and see, like, you're very humble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're a sweet guy. So it's like you have that mentality. Like, you have that capability to be destructive, you know? But you're not. You're humble and you're down.
Honestly, all warriors just want peace. And if you hear anybody say different, then they're just pretending, and they're not truly warriors.
It makes sense because a warrior goes to war to have peace, you know? So that's pretty good.
You know? And for the times that I had to do everything, it was all because I lived in the corner, you know?
Yeah.
You couldn't back me into it anymore, so I just did things all the time because that's the way it had to be, you know?
I mean,
I watch your back, you watch mine.
did you ever get, like, caught or anything during all, like, the stuff you did in prison? Because some people, like, they come in and then, I mean, as far as what I've, like, heard is, like, hey, you're fresh meat, basically, like, you got to do all the dirty work. And, like, some people get more time, like, in prison because that's something they had to do, you know?
Yeah, well, it's all about, sometimes it's about how you do it, you feel me?
Yeah.
If you do something in a way where you do it to where when people see that, they don't even want to tell on you. It's more highly likely that you can get away with it. It's a little harder now because they put a lot of cameras in there. But for the most part, I got away with every single thing that I've ever done. I got in trouble, like, I only got in trouble for the things that I said I wouldn't do.
We have someone commented on Instagram. He says, "Is there a difference between a street fight and an inmate fight?"
Well, you could fight for your life anywhere, you know. So it all depends who you're fighting, and it depends on how you fight. Like, you don't ever have to be in a fight ever, you know. I wasn't, and you see here, I was trying to kill somebody, you know. Like, so I'm saying, it could be the same, it could be different, but it's all, you know, that's hard to say, you know. I actually truly disagree with fighting because you can slap somebody, they can fall and bump their head and die, you know. So like that's what I'm saying. You fighting for life every time because you don't know what this person is gonna do to you. You don't know if he's gonna bring out a knife. You don't know if his friends are gonna come. Yeah. A riot's gonna start while you're fighting. You might be fighting another race, like. But luckily, I never fought another race unless it was in a riot. You feel me?
Okay, okay. So there wasn't like a personal attack or anything like on another inmate. It was like because you're in a riot, well, you're going against this guy in front of you and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But I never just fought another race because I had a problem with them and stuff. Because I wasn't around other races like that to get into trouble until I like earned a rep, and then I knew what I could do, you know, and nobody can tell me nothing because I was known enough I was known enough by everyone for everyone to be comfortable enough to see me do anything and know that I'm going to do it accordingly.
How long did that take?
Well, by the first 2 months in, I just had a lot of drugs already, so I had that part down. And
knock that off your checklist?
Yeah. It took me to earn the name criminal. It took me, like, honestly, to be exact, it took me almost 180 days. Almost a full 6 months, but like every day having to do something for 6 months. And then the last test I ever went through is just to make sure that I could have that name is some people come in, act like they're gonna try to kill me and like hold me down, put a knife on my neck to see how I act, you know.
You had that happen to you before?
Yeah. I didn't do nothing. I just lifted up my neck some more to get more room and looked them in their eyes. And that was the last test I ever went through. But I passed every test that I ever had, you know? Yeah. Pop quizzes, I'm the boss. You know?
Pop quizzes, I'm the boss. That is crazy. Was there anything beneficial going? I know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I became way better as a person, you know, more humble. I learned, like, for instance, my grandma, my mom, they want me to do something around the house. And I'll be like, I ain't doing that. I'll tell, you know, like, had the audacity to tell my parents what I'm going to do, or I'm not even paying any bills, you know? Don't you have kids so they can clean up after you? No, I'm joking, but, like, and I just wouldn't abide by anything they say. And when I went to prison, I was like, dang, some people don't even have parents. And I'm locked up in a cell. I come out, like, when I was in the cell, let's not even get into detail. I've been in prison for so long that I'd rather do anything than be incarcerated. So that's what helped me open my eyes to all the things that I was taking for granted. And because I took them for granted, absentmindedly, I was taking advantage of everyone around me, you know, because I didn't know how much anybody loved me until I didn't have anybody around. Yeah. You know? And I realized, like, wow, I was born loved, so I kind of didn't know what love was, you know, just like you don't know how it feels to die until you're, like, losing your life. Yeah. So it did help me a lot, and I got to learn more. I got to see things. It kind of messed me up in my head. Like, I'll probably be more beneficial after I get more time to adjust, you know, and transition to real life, you know. Because, like, I still don't got it yet. You know, like, I be tripping, you know.
I mean,
Of course, when you guys come visit, I'm all good all the time. Like,
you said once you're gone.
Yeah. What's the what are some things that you wish you had more of, like letters, more phone calls? Do you wish more people would have called you?
that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had some girls. You know? Because, like, I ain't gonna lie. Especially to get out in this day and era, it's like such a sob story.
Yeah.
Because, before I got locked up, I had, like, women would, like, approach me all the time. And, like, I never even made a move on a girl before out of respect for my mother, you know? I just probably wasn't the wisest thing, but I try to treat everyone as good as I think my mom should be treated. And when I went to prison, I don't know if because I was only a teenager or because I was in another state, but every girl I ever knew disappeared, you know? And, like, I don't blame you, you know, because we're all young. They had to go to college and stuff and have kids and all that. Like, but to not even have to approach a woman for my whole life, to not even being able to find a girl or to be hooked up, it made me sad, and now it made me a little bitter too. And now when I get out, I'm like, wow. Every time like girls, they still talk to me, but as soon as they do, they're like asking me if I want to buy their premium.
Buy their premium.
Yeah, so
yeah,
sad.
Different era.
It's definitely different.
I just don't know what to do.
It's all good, brother. You're out here, and you know what? You're living the good life now. We only have a couple minutes. We only have like 30 seconds left, so I'm gonna close up right here, guys. You guys are listening to Whatever Works. I'm Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And we got Andre Smith here. Hey, honestly, he's gonna be back on the show. We're gonna talk about some more stuff and get to know Andre.
KCAA.